It's morning. There is, in the back of this room, the very early morning sun. So I'm up at the crack of dawn. Actually, I've been up for about an hour and a half, and just now the sun is coming up. So I'm going to do this little quickie video reviewing a few things that I've discovered in the past week, and actually putting on some makeup. And then, since yesterday was Halloween, I wanted to do a Halloween video, but I missed it because it was yesterday. However, and it was a perfect day to talk about this scary subject that I wanted to talk about, and Halloween was the perfect day for that. I can still talk about the scary subject. I can just pretend it's still Halloween. And the scary subject is death. Ooh, scary. That old death subject. Scary, scary. So, and it was like perfect timing because I woke up yesterday morning and the crack of dawn. Usually I get up at 3:30, but lately I've been getting up at 5:15. And I went over to the workout thing around the corner, and there was this other woman in there, which was very rare because usually at that hour I'm in there by myself. And she and I started talking, and the guy who had just recently shot those cops in like Michigan or whatever, he was on TV, and the whole thing was talking about him. And I guess that their whole lives had been tied up for 2 weeks waiting to find a killer who'd been hiding in the woods. And we were talking about the death sentence because the cops wanted to give him the death sentence. And recently I was talking to my daughter, who's in law school, about rehabilitation for criminals. So as opposed to sticking them in jail and where they get treated badly and we feed them and the taxpayer dollar goes to house these criminals of different shapes and sizes and different extremities on how bad their crime was. And we try to figure out what's wrong with them and help them, and that's of course expensive, and but it's more sane, humane perhaps. And yet again, what are we doing for these people who are committing these horrible crimes? Some people just get guns and go out and shoot people. So I don't know, maybe I should talk about that right now instead of talking about the other stuff that I was going to talk about since I got on the subject. And so, all right, fine, we'll talk about the death subject. It's a pretty big subject. And she mentioned that there was this other personality or a vlogger or something who was talking about the death cafe. And she was saying how she thinks that death is perfectly fine and perfectly, we shouldn't flip out about it and get all scared and freaked out. Because if you think about it, here's this young guy who goes and for some reason unknown, nobody knows why he did it, but he shot a couple of cops and killed them. And he didn't shoot himself like a lot of shooters do. A lot of shooters go out and shoot and then they shoot themselves. Well, this guy is still alive, so that means we have to deal with him. And we either kill him, which makes everybody feel bad even though he's a murderer, or we put him in jail and we pay for his life, for the rest in his crappy life, which is in jail for however, probably till the rest of his life, which is, we put him out of his misery. Really, I don't know which is better. Is it better to stay alive in jail, or is it better to die and be free of your body? And I have to say, I'm going to bring up that guy again that my sister told me about, who is that young druggy guy who had a terrible life, and he gets hit by a car and killed, and his spirit came back to talk to somebody who's still alive, because we're all wondering what the hell's going on here on this planet, and in the death realm, because we don't remember, because we don't know anything, because our pineal gland has been shut down. And who said he was so happy that this guy killed him because he freed him of this horrible life that he couldn't get out of. He couldn't see a way out. And so we have to define, what is life? What does life mean? Is it just life on the planet, this planet, or does it mean all life? What does it mean? When you talk about life, what are we talking about? Well, we tend to be talking about this life on this planet, right? Because that's what we remember, what's in front of us. So I wanted to pose a new idea, a new concept, where instead of people being afraid of death, what if we knew that death wasn't scary? What if we knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that our soul continued on. We just freed ourselves of the body that we're in. We know our body's going to die. This life on this planet is designed for the body to go through a process that leads to death. And this is amazing because in the rest of the universe and the rest of the world and the rest of the dimensions, we don't die. We're eternal beings. That's a fact. I've always known that. This psychic woman, this medical intuitive that I saw the other day, said that I came in activated, because you're talking about like DNA activation, and how that whole process of awakening and realizing who you are and what you are, and that life goes on and that there's nothing to be afraid of out there. Really, you have more to be afraid of in here. Only because your mind can get messed up, and then that's when you have pain, when your mind is all messed up, So, So if you knew, for it would beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you lived on, you wouldn't be afraid of death. Unless you were afraid of the fourth dimension, or the dream state, which is where your mind, which can get full of fears, can get tricked into living out scary things. In the dream state, we all had bad dreams, haven't we all? So here's my idea. We don't treat death as something to be afraid of. We don't treat death as if it's this bad, scary thing. We embrace the concept, and we treat it completely differently than we have ever before on this planet. And that is, we embrace it. What would have happened if that guy who shot the cop in, I guess it's Michigan, but I don't know exactly, but what if he were really unhappy and he was miserable and he wanted to kill something? And his choices were kill someone else or kill himself. Which is better? Probably killing himself is better than killing someone else. It's all bad. Or is it? This guy, the druggy guy, he loved the guy who drove over him and killed him. He loved that man because he was free. Not everybody has a great life down here. Now, we want to have a great life. The goal is to have a great life. We hope to have a great life, but what really actually happens? We often don't have a really great life. We always have struggles because this is a fear-based realm. This is a fear-based paradigm. This planet is all based on fear. Everything we're taught is fear-based, and every choice we make is taught through choosing through a fear-based consciousness. Insurance is fear-based. Health insurance, life insurance. It's all based on death and aging and things that we're afraid of. Actually, marriage is fear-based. Everything is fear-based except for having a child. That appropriates the society. But, we'd like to say that marriage is love-based. But if we got really into it, it's really more of a fear-based choice. It's not a love-based choice. But that's like a whole other subject, which I want to talk about, because I really do want to also change how we do love and family and relationships in our world, which I think we have all wrong. This is our favorite mascara. Me and my youngest daughter have decided she's getting one of these for Christmas. I'm asking Santa to put it in her stocking. I know we both really like this. This is the best one. Out of all of the mascaras I have, and I dug them all out. There's like 7 mascaras I have. And we decided this is the best one. So, anyway. But it's not good to share mascara, even with your daughter, especially when she's just been sick. So, it's better to have your own mascara. So you don't pass along strep throat and think conjunctivitis and stuff that can get passed through your eyes, the moisture and the tears. Don't share mascara with your girlfriends or your boyfriends. So what if we embrace death, and instead of being afraid of it and having to kill yourself alone like poor Robin Williams did, he has ALS and he wants to get out of this horrible situation that he's in. Plus, maybe he's worth more dead than alive because of his financial situation with his ex-wives. Maybe if he had the life insurance policies, it was going to bail him out. It is depressing that he felt that he could not get enough work to support himself and all his wives, and that he, I think it was, and that is depressing, and that he didn't, that out of all the movies that he made, he didn't have enough to sustain him through his old age. That is sad. This is a sad world. Let's change it. What can we do? I think we can make it a better world. So, this is this little cute thing I'm wearing underneath here. But anyways, so this is my idea. If you want to die, you should be able to. Right to life, right to death. Right to life, right to death. Right to life on the planet, right to dying on the planet, your own way. You should have the right to die the way you want to die. Now, what if that were a thing here? What if we were allowed to die the way we wanted to die? What would we choose? That's a good thing to ask yourself. I asked this woman in the workout thing. Her name was Andrea. And she said I could use her name. I can't remember her last name, but we had a very exciting conversation because I was all jazzed up about this subject. And I think her favorite way of dying was, I think she just wanted to have it be over, like a quickie stroke or something. I think she knew someone in her family who was alive one second, then was dead the next second, and she wanted that. I always said I wanted to die in my sleep, but maybe it would be cooler to be, on a bed surrounded by my loved ones and then holding hands in a circle, chanting a special chant, and then go that way. If you could get out of the life, if you were in pain and you were sick and old and you had no money and you were suffering in any way, you should be able to get out of this without suffering, because that's humane, right? So that girl in Oregon who's got the horrible disease, and she's going to go to Oregon so that they can give her the euthanasia thing. So she's doing it right, and she's allowed to do it right, and that's good, because she should be allowed to do it the way she wants to do it. And we should support these things. We shouldn't be afraid of them and act like it's some bad thing, because it's not a bad thing to die. Actually, the death moment's really amazing and cool. We do have an overpopulation problem. I'm not trying to make light of it, but in a way I am, because I think we should chill out about death. Now, if you were able to take a pill that calmly and quietly allowed you to slip out of your life, would that be that bad a thing? Think about it. If this guy who murdered this cop, now this cop that he murdered could have been a dad. There could be a lot of very sad people because of the death of that cop. I don't know who he was, but if he had a child and a wife and a lot of friends and family and parents, they would be very upset that he was dead. The guy who shot him, maybe he would rather be dead and not have killed someone. So in that case, he would have the opportunity to take this pill that quietly puts you out of your life, and then we wouldn't have to come up with all these tax dollars to feed this guy and rehab this guy. Now, is that mean of me to say that I don't think that necessarily we should be coming up with all these tax dollars to rehab this guy after he killed somebody? I don't know the ethics around that. I'm mixed about it, I will admit, because I don't know. Now, some people want to kill themselves and then they recover from that feeling and they turn it around. I think people should have the choice. It's like, if you were miserable and unhappy and you wanted to kill yourself, you could go and talk to people about it. I want to kill myself. I want the pill. So what do? There's an available pill. I'm going to go talk to somebody about getting the available pill. First, I'm going to talk to a psychiatrist or some sort of therapist. I'm going to talk to my family. Maybe to get the pill, you have to talk to every single person that you know. Maybe that's the rule. If you want to kill yourself, you need to talk to every person, or you need to reach out in some way. You need to go through a certain kind of therapy to make sure that it's really the right thing, and then do it if you want to do it. No one should live here if they don't want to live here. Who do we want here? I mean, do we want people who are criminals who want to kill other people and take other people's lives without their asking? That's the thing. Is if you want to take your own life, take your own life, but don't take other people's lives if they don't want to be taken. Our messy floor. So, I just think we should rearrange this. There's got to be a pill that can put you out quietly, or you get an overdose on morphine or whatever. But if there was a way to die that felt okay, and if it was considered okay to die, if you were allowed to make that choice without social repercussions, without anybody shaming you or guilting you or making you feel bad about it, what if it were a choice? What's wrong with this idea? I think we should consider this, you know, and give people an option. For example, back in Maine, where I used to live, I know a group of women who are elderly, and they get together and they talk about death. I think they might call it the Death Cafe as well. I'm not sure. And one of them is like 98, and she's really old, and she's in a lot of pain, and she's tired of living this life and dragging her painful body around, and she wants out, and she's been ready to go for weeks, but she can't seem to go. You know? It's like, she's ready. Why can't she go? Why can't we make our own decisions on this planet? Why is everything we want to do come up against the opposite of it? You notice that about life? To make it more challenging, to make it more interesting, to make it harder, to make it more difficult to play the game? I don't know. Why? But it's a fear, because it's a fear-based society. This is why. This society is based on opposition, polarity, and fear. This is the anti-love experiment. This is why we suffer. We're in anti-love. It's painful to be in anti-love. Think about it, you know? Why are we pining for love? Why is it that the people we love half the time, most of the time, don't love us back? It's so rare to find love. It's so rare. It's a big thing to celebrate. This is why people make a big deal out of the wedding. Somebody loves me. I'm going to wear my best dress and throw the biggest party I can throw because it's such a miracle that somebody loves me that I actually love back. That is so unusual, such a miracle. I found a needle in a haystack, and I'm going to celebrate it with all I've got. And then after we get married, since marriage is the curse of death, I'm sorry to say it, but it's my determination after viewing things on the planet, in our society. I think once you marry and that big celebration is over, it starts to all go downhill. I'm very much against marriage. I'm for commitment and family and love, and I'm against marriage. And I'm going to make a whole video on that, separate video on why nobody's going to like it. Have your party, wear your dress, get the ring, do whatever you want. Just don't get married. I mean, have the party, wear the dress, get the food, throw the thing, get the band. Celebrate your love. I am all for celebrating love, but I don't believe in marriage because lifetime. I think people should get married for limited amounts of time. This whole marriage thing is based on antiquated thinking that doesn't apply to modern life. And we really should not be, expecting this marriage thing to work out. We can try it. We can go for it. We can look for it. We can plan it. But we shouldn't expect it to mean anything other than another great day that you plan that doesn't necessarily lead to a lifetime of happiness. In fact, it's almost going to guarantee, promise you, that you will not feel all that happy. Terrible to say it, but it's true. Let's deal with reality, So, where's my nice little fun thing that I love? Where's that? Oh, here it is. I really am into this thing. Need a quickie uplift? Use this. I think it helps refresh the face. Because truthfully, Dermawand at this age is not helping me that much. It's not really taking care of things the way I want it to. For me, these videos, it's all going to be about lighting because this thing is nice. It's softer. It's smoother on the skin. I use a lot of coconut oil. So, this is not the video I wanted to make about death, but it's a start. I want to talk about it. I want us to change this. I feel that we as a society need to change our concepts about death and about marriage, so that we're not dying to get out of the marriage. Because that often happens where you're dying to get out of the marriage. And pretending that you're not dying to get out of the marriage. It's not a laughing matter. People shouldn't laugh about it. I'm sorry, but I'm glad I'm laughing because I haven't really laughed lately that much except for when Ron sends me a funny email. then I laugh. So, and I want to feel more joy lately, and I haven't been, I just haven't been feeling the happy joy that I want to feel, that I want to admit, and that's part of why I haven't made the video I wanted to make. I'm feeling a little giddier now. That's good, because then I want to talk about some other stuff. So I'm going to, it's actually funny because this is very blue, the picture, this is all very light blue, but that's outside. When I look out there, it's gray. So guys, I don't know, yeah, what would happen if we treated death as if it wasn't scary, but actually desirable? Would everybody go around committing suicide? Maybe, but that would be their choice, now wouldn't it? And as adults, I think we have to have our own choices and make our own choices, and we should be able to make choices that feel good, and we shouldn't be shamed on every single choice we make. Isn't it weird that we're shamed to get out of this planet, which is actually a mental prison? I mean, who controls this planet? Who controls this society? Who controls this realm? Because it seems like it's out of control, doesn't it? Aren't we all striving for something that is difficult to achieve? And if you think about the way love has gone, the way love goes, in the anti-love experiment, love doesn't go all that great all the time. So what does it mean? I mean, to love oneself, if you're suffering and there's no way out of the pain, and you're old, and you have no money, and you can't afford health care, and you've raised your children, and say, you've got a lot of arthritis, or you've got some shit, whatever, I don't know. You could wait for your body to shut down on its own, but what if you could take control over that body yourself? What if you could, this is radical, okay, what I'm about to say, but let's just think about this. Let's just do radical. Let's think outside the box for a change. How about, okay, your body is valuable. Let's just go with the premise that your body is valuable. It's a temporary vehicle to your soul, which lives on. What if you could sell your body at the time of death to somebody who wanted it? Either science, somebody who needed body parts, or somebody who wanted your DNA. Let's assume that your body has in it, when at the end of its life, all of this knowledge that you gained while you were alive in your body. What if that were true? I think it probably is true. You say that your body, say that my body has all of the information in my DNA, in my cells, coded into my body, my experience on life, which means what it means to be a female in this time period on this planet, what it means to be a mom 3 times over, what it means to be married twice and divorced twice, what all of that gave my spirit, what it means to be a daughter, what it means to be a friend, what it means to be a sister, what it means to live a life, go to school and college and do all these different activities, and what does it all mean? And say that all of my knowledge, say that my knowledge about getting activated and the DNA activation and my spiritual knowledge, say all of that was in this body. And then when this body died, whoever had the body would have access to all of my knowledge. I actually have a lot of knowledge. It would be valuable to have my body. And what if I could sell it and give the money to my children? What if I was old and dying, or I just couldn't get out of the physical pain that I was? It was too much suffering. And you know how they shoot a horse to put it out of its misery? What if they did that with human beings? And except that instead of treating the body like it was something to be wasted or burned and sprinkled, what if the body was super valuable and it could be sold for money and the money could go to your children? I just think our society would actually be better. If you could get out of the pain and the misery that your body might be in or that you might be in, sell your body and give the money to somebody that you care about, then if you want to come back down to the planet, you can always reincarnate, Everybody wants to have babies. Some people do. Most people do. And then maybe the population would be more under control for the planet, and we wouldn't have to struggle to feed all these people. Although I still am mystified by the whole thing about there's 7 billion people, and the planet can't support 7 billion people. Well, obviously, the planet is supporting 7 billion people. People would not be reproducing if they couldn't. And if they're living and surviving, that means they're living and surviving, and they're living on what the earth is providing, or what they are taking from the earth to support their bodies. You know, so if people were allowed to, maybe we're living too long, and that's why we have too many people. But maybe we don't actually have too many people. Maybe we just have the right amount of people. Who's to say? Who are they? Who are they? You know, who are they telling us what we are and are not supposed to be thinking? Who are they that writes all the books in school? And the doctors and the doctor stuff, the medicine books and all that crap, all that bullshit that they make up and teach doctors. And then doctors go to get the training, and then they know nothing except for what pill to prescribe, and then they get money for. What if you could get paid? What if somebody wanted your body because of your life experience, but they wanted you with a little more alcohol, and they asked you to drink 3 drinks a day for the next year so that you had more alcohol in your body, and then they wanted your body because it would make a really good sauce for some king's dinner. I made this comment. I was not joking when I said that the white guy is the top of the food chain on this planet. That's what we think. But what if us human beings were not actually the top of the food chain as we think? What if we were part of the food chain and we just don't know it? What if that were true? What if our bodies were actually being taken and eaten by some higher species? See, they don't want human beings to know anything, because they want us doing what we do because we make a good sauce for their dinner the way we are. I mean, if we eat pigs and bacon and cows, and we have farms, and we manage our cows, and some cows are treated good, and some cows are treated bad, and some cows are eating grass and are grass-fed and are organic, and some cows are eating God knows what, and every cow tastes different, and some cows taste better than others maybe, and maybe human beings taste better than others too. For certain people. For certain beings. I've developed the craziest concept, and I'm going to make a movie about it someday, just because I do think these movies actually show truths in the universe through this movie vehicle, so it seems like a fantasy, so people don't get upset. But I really think that the human body, look how amazing our human body is, our brain, our eyes, our heart, our lungs, our blood, our DNA. That's valuable stuff. Very. In fact, the codes are supposed to be hidden in the human body, and the reason we came down here to play is to actually be in the human body to try to access the codes up against every possible thing going against us to win the game, which is to access the codes, the secret. What's the secret? What are the secret codes? The secret codes of creation are living inside the body. What does that mean? How do you access the codes? You've got to be in a human body, and then you've got to remember what you're doing, and then you've got to figure out why you're here in the body, and then you've got to figure out how to access the codes, and all of it's pretty challenging. And when you come down here with this intention, you have no memory of your intention. You have no consciousness of the fact that you're down here looking for codes, and that the codes are in your body, and that this is the way you're going to try to access them. And there's a lot more to it than that, too. It goes on. It goes way on, and I guess I'm going to be ready to talk about it. And there's all these new people that I've discovered who are talking about activation, DNA activation. I've been listening to this girl just recently named, her site's called The Lumen Octave, and her name is Indra Mona. I like her. I'm going to subscribe to her. And then there's these 2 other people I found recently whose names are, one was a guy, and who is this? She dances too, Indra Mona. She's an Indian, and she dances because she knows that dancing is a key code, and it makes her feel good, and it raises her vibration, and I liked her. And then I also like this guy named, I love Teal Scott. I've been watching her. And then this guy named, where did he go? This British guy with a very strong accent who says the word month very, very clearly. This crisp Britishy accent, and like Stefan Molyneux, who is also, oh, here he is. Here's this guy. His name is Lee Harris. He's another one. I liked him. I mean, some stuff is good that he says, and so him, and then there was another one that I really liked. I forget who she was, but there was just a lot of people talking about yeah, there's just a lot going on. Anyway, so I was connecting with these other people, and it was fun to see other people talking about the stuff that I'm talking about, but they do it in a different way. We all have our own way of talking about this stuff and sharing our information, and it's cool. It's good because we can share and help each other, and we're all doing the same thing, which is realizing that we're on the planet looking for these codes of enlightenment, codes of creation. There's something very, very special in the human body that we're trying to access, which is very hard to access. But you can access it, I guess. I mean, it's some sort of an enlightenment. It's codes to the creation. Within the human body, there are codes to maybe every other thing of creation in the universe, or maybe even more than one universe. The Earth, the planet, has codes of creation, of ideas from all over the universe. So every animal has a representative, is a representative. Here on this planet, it represents a species in the universe. The cow, the pig, the horse, those animals, the cat, the dog, the bird, the insects. There's mantids or mantoids and ant people and all this stuff, and humans. The human really we have all the heavy metals. We have everything in here. Think about it. Look what we can do. Look how amazing our body is, Our eyes, the way we talk, the way our face takes our expressions and then wrinkles over pattern, the way our body reflects our spirit, the way our system works here. It's a really interesting place. It's like jumping into your own science experiment. That's what it means to come to this planet. And it's hard to stay happy because there's so much negativity here and programming. The programs are pretty much designed to bring you down, not up. So maybe what we're doing here is we're reprogramming ourselves so that we're brought up instead of down. We're programmed to die. We're programmed to age and die and basically suffer. We're in a very, very pain-based world and suffering-based world, and we have to try to get away from that suffering-based consciousness. I'm just losing my battery. It's going to die quick. So that's what I think we're doing here on this planet. I've been lately like, what are we doing here on this planet? What am I doing here? Why aren't I happier? Why aren't I doing more things that make me feel joyful? If Teal Scott says our job is to bring joy to the planet, I'm not doing my job because I'm not being joyful lately. I've been too bummed out about a lot of different things. And I don't feel like I've been useful because when I'm bummed out, I don't feel like I'm doing any positive thing. And I don't like being bummed out. I want to share happy, joy. And I haven't been feeling happy. So I want to bring myself up and do things that bring me up. Because I haven't been dancing, because my body... There's a lot of things that have brought me down. So I don't want to be brought down. I want to bring brought up. And I want to figure out how to do it. I want to figure out how to reprogram my DNA so that I'm not aging and suffering, so that I'm attracting things that I want to happen, like a dance partner and the dancing and teaching the dancing, bringing more chocolate into the world, getting the 48 million people around the planet dancing and being uplifted. So, what gets in my way is my physical body, and my spirit I can start to get negative, or I can be extremely tired. And I think some of that exhaustion is my body's reprogramming myself, digesting all of the stuff that I learn that comes into my body. I know that sleep is really important to processing the information in the human body, and then there's a lot going on that we just simply don't know. I've really gotten clear on how this is. This is the stuff I've been using as my little makeup break. This is Age Rewind by Maybelline. Anyways, my good Neutrogena stuff I can't find it. So the energetic medicine, using kinesiology, the mudras are the parts of the codes. The mudras, I figured out that name of this is what I'm doing with my hands. These are mudras. This is part of the sacred geometry. The yoga is part of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is part of the story, part of the code, part of the understanding. But then what is the goal? You have to have a goal on this planet to survive it, to be engaged, to be excited, to wake up in the morning and want to do this again. And because it gets exhausting and tiring. It's like this again, this again, this again, We get bored, and that's not good. If we're bored, it's terrible because then our active minds can get us doing things which maybe aren't really good for us. Actually, boredom, the human being, the goddess, when we get bored, we can be very destructive. That's like a thing. We've been known to destroy ourselves simply because we're bored and need something to do. And it's interesting and weird to destroy ourselves because our natural state is continuous existence. So destroying ourselves is weird. It's different, It's something to do. So dying is interesting. It's something for our spirit to do. To live in a body, to be a child, to grow up with parents and all siblings and things that affect our consciousness, our whole, biology versus upbringing, and experimenting with that and going through it ourselves to see how it works. What do we do with it, with our life story, with our family story? And the self-destruction, just living a human life is experiencing self-destruction because we die. We're programmed to die. We're on auto-die. We're on autopilot death. Nobody thinks of it that way, but that's exactly what's actually happening. While you're fighting for life, you're dying. The trick of the mind, we think we're living. We're actually dying. We're on our way to death. How much living can we do before we die? That's like the game, the question. You're going to die, so what are you going to do with your allotted amount of time? And you don't even know how much time you get. These are all things to keep the game at its highest drama, to keep it exciting. Because we watch exciting things on TV, and we watch things that are usually painful and shocking, because that we want the thrill of the shock. So we do all this crappy, weird stuff down here. This is a fear-based society. A lot of it's all fear-based. Because fear is a thrill. Fear is a thing. It's a thing to experience. It's different than our normal state, which they say is love. I have been on this planet so many times. I have been far away from the love vibration. I'm trying to bring the love vibration. Sometimes it's hard to feel the love vibration when you've been on this planet in the anti-love experiment for too long, and you've got to do things to find love. When love constantly goes bad, like if you love your husband and then that goes bad, you suffer pain because your heart is broken, your love vibration's going out and it's not being received. So to get out of that pain of loving someone who's not loving you back or giving you what you need, you have to pull the love away from them. You got to take it back, your energy, so that you can, and that's all painful. Everything down this planet is painful. Then you find somebody else to love, and that's going to end up being painful too. I hate to say it. Some love is good. You don't want to jinx it, but it's like You love your pet dies. You love your parents die. Hopefully your children do not die before you, but it does happen because everything happens on this planet. Everything can happen on this planet. Somebody asked me my philosophy, and I said, well, recently, twice, I said that everything is possible, anything is possible, and or possible till proven impossible. That's literally the way I think of it. Possible till proven impossible, instead of impossible till proven possible. So it's funny how our natural, on human earth, our natural tendency is to not believe in anything unless it's proven through the earth scientifically or with some miraculous thing like Jesus coming down from the heavens or some angel coming down to prove there's a God. We don't even know if there's a God. Show me, prove it to me. We don't even know because we can't see it. Because everything on this planet is not visible. The truths are hidden. The secrets are hidden. They wouldn't be secrets if they were out. They're secret because they're hidden. We're down here to figure out these secrets. And I am too. And I'm hoping to find the secret code and then share it with everybody so that we can win. Maybe I've got a team that I'm on this light team. Let's win, you know. And there's other beings that are here on the planet on the light team. And I'm finding them and I'm learning from them too. And they are sharing their light version and I'm sharing mine with my magical crystal. And we're all sharing, trying to access the codes. And I think that we need to start with the death concept. Let's think about death. Let's think about it and talk about it a lot. And see if we can rearrange it. Because if we were not afraid of death, the nature of the game would change. Maybe the game wouldn't be as exciting if we weren't afraid of death. And maybe we chose to stay afraid of death to keep the game the way it is. Because when you're afraid of death, that creates a certain viewpoint that maybe that's from the perspective you need to play this game. If we weren't afraid of death, everything would change. Everything on this planet would change. The way we do healthcare, the way we do insurance, the way we do life would completely change if we were not afraid of death. I think we should talk about it a lot. What would life be like if we weren't afraid of death? And how would that slowly change the lockdown that we're in? If we weren't afraid of death, I bet it would release a lot of the constricted thinking. You know? So, this is important. I want to talk about it a lot and change this death thing. I think it needs to be changed. We are the paradigm. We're on the verge of breaking free of old, constricting mental thoughts. What will this world become without so much fear? What if we brought the fear down and the joy factor up? You know? So, for some reason, I'm going to take this moment to talk about this one thing, which is my French poem. Sorry about that. Which I'm going to read right now, because there's something in this poem. There is something in this poem. There's a code in it. La nature est un temple où des vivants pliés laisse parfois sortir de confuses paroles. L'homme y passe à travers de forêts de symboles qu'il observe avec des regards familiers, comme des longs échos qui de loin se confondent dans une ténébreuse et profonde unité, vaste comme la nuit et comme la clarté. Les parfums, les couleurs et les sons se répandent. Il est des parfums frais comme des chairs d'enfants, doux comme les hautbois, verts comme les prairies, et d'autres corrompus, riches et triomphants, ayant l'expansion des choses infinies, comme l'ombre, les muscs, les bejoins et l'encens, qui chantant les transportent de l'esprit et des sens. Now that French poem, I think, has deeper meaning. And I feel that there are hidden sounds in this poem that trigger something in the human body. And I think the sounds have to do with the love vibration, the octave, which is maybe C, because of the word l'homme, which is man in French. L'homme, L'Homme. L'homme. You say it like this, l'homme. And it looks like l'homme if you were going to read it through an English-speaking person's mind. It looks like l'homme. L'homme. But it's l'homme, according to my friend who taught me how to say the poem. And she said you say l'homme like yum, which is the sound, which is very similar to love, the love vibration. And I was taught that if you go like this to an animal, love, they respond by calming down and it heals their body. I used to do that with my cat, and she definitely did respond to love. And then there's this other guy, and it might have been Lee Harris, but I'm not sure, who tells you to do this thing. You go, love, or this thing where you go, so there's something about doing this love sound. I think the reason we love French is because it's based on l'homme y passe à travers de forêts de symboles and we find that sexy because it's the love vibration. It turns us on. This is just my little thinking about why do we love the French. So why do we love French people? Why are we attracted? They're French. All they have to do is be French and we're in love with them. Why? Maybe it's because they go la 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 through their language. Because it's a very monotone language. It doesn't go up and down and bouncing all around like Italian or even English. You know, we're all like, I think that Americans are the type A adventuresome people of every culture. Get out of where they are and come here to be whoever they are and be free to be Americans. I think that's the reason they come to America. And America is supposed to be where you're allowed to do that. You should be able to do that all over the country, all over the world. You shouldn't have to come to America to be free. God, what is with this place? All these constricting poor people living under tyranny, which is pretty much male domination, male-dominated tyranny. Sorry, guys. Now, if we women had behaved in this way in ancient times, and this is our payback, okay, we'll have to accept that. But right now, it's male-dominated, tyrannical societies that cause people suffering, constriction, a lack of freedom, and pain, and torture. It's just wrong, you know? I mean, maybe the women in the Middle East love to wear the burqa and show this much of their body and run around in hot temperatures wearing veils that cover up everything. Maybe they like that. Maybe there's a comfort in it. Maybe there's a comfort in it because it keeps the men away. You know? But they shouldn't have to wear all that to keep the men away. The men should just honor the women, show respect, treat her well, and let her wear whatever she wants. Get over it, guys. You know, although on the other hand, I understand that the woman carries the codes in her body. More codes are in her body, I think, than the male body. And that's why she's special. That's why the man wants to own her and dominate her and have her. And he does it in very bad ways. Sometimes he rapes her to have her because he wants her, because she's got more codes than he has. Because she has the codes of creation. They're in the human body. The male has them too. Male also has codes of creation, but the woman has more because she's feeding through her breasts and her whole uterus. I mean, we're, you know, more codes of creation in the female, and that's why everybody's always like, I want to see those boobs. I have to see them, because they subconsciously know that the codes of creation are living inside there. I'm not wearing a bra right now. Here, have some of my codes of creation. Here's where I store some of my codes, right there. I'm okay with sharing that. I think all women should share their codes. Share your freaking codes on YouTube. You know, I watched a video where this little Asian woman is giving this other woman a massage, trying to increase her breasts are perfect. She's got these perky little breasts, and they're like trying to make them bigger. It's like, I don't know. I don't want my boobs any bigger. I'm trying to get them smaller all the time. But here she was, there were the nips, right there, little round nips sticking out in the camera, and this little Asian woman is going around like this on her naked breast, and I'm not allowed to talk about my nips on YouTube? Give me a freaking break. Lighten up, YouTube. They're just nipples. They feed the nation. I guess they did change things, and now you can have age restricted on YouTube. YouTube needs to grow freaking up, really. Get over it, guys. No nips on YouTube. Really? The men can show their nips. The men can walk around showing their nips. But the men can because those nips aren't as special. Let's just face it, okay? YouTube allows male nips to show on their cameras, on their videos, because they're just aren't special. Those aren't special nipples. I guess the woman's nipples really are special. It's ridiculous. Come on, guys. When you think about the restricted thinking on this planet, it just blows your mind. You know what it makes me think about? It makes me wonder, like, what would I create if I could control the world? If I could create the world, what would I do? How would I create it? Well, I would get everybody away from this fear of death, and I would give everybody the opportunity to get out of the planet the way they wanted to, peacefully, safely, comfortably, surrounded by their loved ones. Even if it's just their dog, you know? You should be allowed to die in a nice way, without fear, without freaking out, and you should be able to sell your body, which is full of value, and then pass that money down onto your offspring. I think this is a perfect plan, and I think people should totally embrace it, and we should totally do it. You know? This is a really long video. It's almost an hour, so it's 51 minutes. So, I don't know, what else? What else would I do? I would get away from money. I would get away from paperwork. I would get away from forms. I hate forms. I would just change all of that. If it were my planet and I was allowed to create it the way I wanted it, I would get away from all the forms and the money and the paperwork. So many things we have to do that I hate doing, like, you know, dealing with the law. Forms for the law. And other stuff. So, anyway, I'm going to finish this video and see how it sounds, and if I'm going to post it, just as a starter for this whole death thing, which I think it is. Now, I did this thing, back to this poem, back to the French poem. I did this thing where I did my energetic medicine, where I set it up so that I use my fingers. This is the mudra I use to test. So when something is strong, I say, be strong. If this is good for me, be strong. If this is bad for me, be weak. So this is not bad for me because I did not get a weak signal would be this. I didn't get that. Just a little promo here. This is really good coffee that I'm going to talk about. Kicking Horse. It's better than even my favorite Starbucks. I hate to say it, and I think it's even better than Market Basket. How can I say such a thing? So, while I was using my mudra to test the words in here, because I had this feeling that some of these words were important parts of the key, the secret key. And I isolated some of the not the word, but the section of the word, which is called, this is what I hate it when my brain goes stupid on me. Okay, so parts of the word, the syllable, thank you. Okay, and what I got was l'homme vert bol, lié lance fond, une huit te pond, frais d'enf bois verri, riche, font en musc, sans puissance. That's what I got. That's what I extracted. And how I did that was, I said, what are the important syllables and letters in this poem? And go weak on the ones that are. So I went through the whole poem, except for the first two sentences. There's la nature est un temple. So temple is one of them. Ou des vivants piliers. Liés is one of them. Laisse parfois froid sortir de confuses paroles. All. And then the next rest of it is l'homme y passe à travers de forêts de symboles. So I did this process and I got l'homme y passe à travers de forêts de symboles. So I got l'homme vert and bol. L'homme vert bol. So this is how I did this. Now I've been working on this. Now I think what's going to happen is, and I'm just making this up, but it's just I'm going on instinct with this poem. This has taken over my mind and my life for a reason. There's a reason behind my obsession for this poem, and I'm convinced that I'm going to find it. So I'm going to take all the letters, I've already isolated them into my own sub-poem, And I'm going to isolate the letters, and I'm going to play with them, and I'm going to make a new poem, and I'm going to look at them and rework them and figure out if there's something in this poem, in these letters, in these sounds that is supposed to be part of the 48 million strong unison joining chocolate dance club, where we come up with the sounds, the song, the phrase, the music that we say during this song that we hear, that we dance to, that we sing in unison, 48 million of us at one time. That's my goal. So I think it has something to do with this poem. So there. We're going to find out. You can come on this crazy little weird journey with me where I'm figuring out what's in this poem. And I bought some canvases. I got these big canvases. This isn't as big as I need. This one's for my younger daughter, because I knew that was the right size for her. So I'm going to paint some, I'm going to paint a symbol. And yesterday I was just working on this one, which is backwards, which is 86110, just because I have a feeling, because of the symbols that go with 8, 6, infinity sign, spiral, parallel lines, and circle. That's all going to come on in one symbol, which I have made many times, and that's going to go on the jacket of the Chocolate Dance Club, or the Sacred Geometry jacket, which I'm going to be making and selling, trying to raise money. So for the dance club, for the 48 million strong Chocolate Dance Club project. Well, anyway, so we'll see who watched this whole video. If you have any opinions, if you watch this whole video, if you have any opinions on thoughts about my whole death idea, to get away from death, not to kill off the species, although we do have too many people on the planet. Hey, if I had Ebola and I was contagious, I would say, take me out, guys. I don't want to contaminate anybody. I'm okay. I've lived my life. I've past 50. It's all borrowed. I personally, I'm fine with fulfilling my job here and being with my children, but I don't need to live on this planet forever and ever and ever. I have other places I go that I remember. I have a bubble car that I drive that drives like this. You sit in the thing and the things are down here. And I have a ship. I have other lives that I remember. I do other things besides this planet. And sometimes I wake up here and I'm like, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah. Fuck yourself up and just find those codes. When I'm in nature, when I'm out in nature doing my yoga and my tuning in and my earthing to try to cope with and feel the sun, which reads our energy. The sun reads our energy. We have a relationship with the sun that we don't even know about. When I'm doing my thing with the sun and I'm in nature and I'm on my own, I will often break into that poem. La nature est un temple où des vivants piliers. And I think that I'm saying that poem spontaneously in nature because there's sounds in it that are part of the codes. So that's what I think. And I'm going to continue on this journey and figure out what the codes are. Imagine, here's your assignment. Go be with this family and try to bring some fairness. That's so far been kind of a failure, but I'm not done yet. Go down to earth and be in this body and have this DNA combination and then try to figure out the code. The code is hidden. You don't know where or when or how, or you don't even know you're looking for a code, but go look for a code. And by the way, there's a secret hint that you're not going to get until you're at least 50 years old, and that there's something about a French poem that's related to the secret codes, but we're not telling you any more. Wouldn't it be funny if the only way to gain enlightenment, I actually made this funny thing up. I told my son, he thought it was funny too, but the only way to gain enlightenment is to, and no way is anybody going to tell you this, but you have to say this French poem that you have to figure out what it is out of the blue, even though you never took French class, and you have to dress up in drag, and you have to sing the French poem in a certain key, which we're not going to tell you what it is. You have to figure that out on your own, and you have to wear 4-inch heels, and you have to dress in drag and be in a drag club and sing the song. Even if you're a female, you have to pretend you're a male dressing as a female. If you're a male, you have to dress as a female because you're in drag, and you have to sing the song that has secret words from a French poem and strut your stuff. That's the only way to gain enlightenment and win the game. Can you imagine if you're going to be a straight guy, but you have to act really gay, because we all know you don't want to, so that's going to stop you right there from winning. Or say you're a gay guy and you don't mind dressing in drag, but you're really hung up on singing, so you just will not get out there and sing. So that's going to stop you from winning the game. Say you're a female and the last thing you would ever do is dress in drag at a club because you're raising kids and that's just not where your mind is at. You're not going to win this game if that was the rule. Imagine if that was the only way to gain enlightenment and win the game on planet Earth. Was to dress in drag and sing a poem in 4-inch heels at a drag club. I think I should make a story where there's these guys who are making up a game. They're the gods, and they're making up a game, and that's the game, and that's how you win. And they just make up this completely random, impossible thing. There's no way anybody's going to win this game if that was the way to win, was to dress up in drag, singing a poem at a drag club in 4-inch heels. And then somebody figures out, if I figured it out that that really was the only way to get enlightenment. Everybody's trying to pray and meditate and all this crap. It's really, you have to dress in drag. If that were true, even if I could sing, and I used to be able to sing at least somewhat, I feel like I've completely lost it. So even if I knew that were how I would win, and I would have to dress up in drag, look like a male, pretending to be a female, and sing a French song that had these things, I might do it because I'm bold enough to do it now at age 52, but I would feel really bad about singing in front of other people because my voice is just terrible right now. And that's another thing that was taken away from me on Planet Suck. How many things can you lose? You're going to lose your body, you're going to lose your singing voice, you're going to lose your joy, you're going to lose your love, you're going to lose everything. Except for hopefully I won't lose my beautiful, healthy children. I would give up everything to keep them healthy, and maybe that was my deal. Maybe that's why I don't have anything else. Except myself, my camera, and my beautiful, healthy children. And you guys, Go team, go. Anyway, I love you guys. This is a crazy little ramble, but on and on about the death thing. And let's make death normal. Let's be able to say the word death and dying without freaking out and feeling bad as if it's sad. Because it's not sad. We should be able to get the hell out of here anytime we want and feel good about it. And then come back if we want. It should be lightened up, Get away from all this misery. So, love, 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 love. That's me just horsing around with my French. Okay, love you guys. Talk to you later. Talk to you soon. Bye.